I'm going to kickstart today. We've had a couple of questions in, and I've got one which I'm going to read to you so I can remember. And one of the questions we had actually follows on from some of the stuff that Jose was talking about earlier this morning. If you saw his keynote in the Screen Media Professionals Conference, and Dirk gave a great 15-minute opening presentation where he's talking about standards. So the first question we have is about driving industry standards. And we'd like to ask the panelists what they think their role is in driving those standards. So we'll start with Jose.
So Adrian, thank you first for inviting Intel to participate in this panel. I think we all would agree that as an industry, we have really under-delivered when it comes to standards. I think we need to do more work in standards across the board, on software, especially on content development, content delivery, on hardware, and really also on metrics in terms of measuring the effectiveness of the advertising that goes through digital signage networks. At Intel, we have really focused on doing our part on the hardware platform, and we have driven two standards. At the beginning of last year, we announced an open standards platform with Microsoft that is based on the Windows Embedded Standard 7 and also on the Intel Core i5 and i7. So this is a standard platform that the industry, the ecosystem, ISVs can purchase and immediately be able to test their solutions on. We actually announced the Digital Signage Evaluation Kit for that platform here at London Screen Expo last year. And today, I was very happy to announce that we have now refreshed that platform with our second generation Core i5 and i7 microprocessors. So that's an open standard platform that the industry can develop to, and the industry can test their products to. The second piece of work that we have done in standards is what we call the open pluggable specification. This is a specification for a media player. A media player is the computing element that drives the digital signage, and it's basically a standard form factor. You can think of it two ways. If you're familiar with servers, with slates, it's basically a slate for panels. If you're familiar with car stereos, thin form factors for car stereos, it's basically a thin form factor. So in your car stereo, you can actually pull your stereo out, buy a stereo from a different brand, and plug it in, and it just works. So same concept, right? The issue that we were running into is that the panel OEMs, if they wanted to offer a good, better, best product segmentation for their panels, they have to develop three different designs. One for entry-level microprocessor platforms, one for mainstream level microprocessor platforms, and one for high-end. With this standardized specification, they're able to basically develop one single form factor and interchange solutions for entry-level, mainstream, and high-end. So we announced that the specification is an Intel specification, and we announced it in collaboration with Microsoft and with NEC at the end of last year. And the Taiwan Digital Signage Special Interest Group, which is a group of companies, of about 30 companies, panel OEMs and ODMs, is now utilizing it, and they're hoping to turn it into a standard. So that's the work that we're doing in standards, but we think the standards are critical across the board.
Okay, and Harris has been pretty good at this in the broadcast industry.
Yes,
so.
yes. Well, I echo a lot of your points, Jose. I think that we haven't arrived at a place as an industry where we've really done our homework and have set a baseline around what metrics are in terms of measurement standards. I think it extends beyond just measurement. It goes into things like billing and reconciliation for advertising placement. I don't think that we've fully figured out how to interface from the buy side of the agency equation to the execution side. And then I love the stuff that the OpenSplash platform is doing on the player side and the execution of the content on the network. We're very excited about that. We're very excited to be participating with that and to certify our software on that type of platform, because I believe it will then open up the marketplace. Okay. So as a software technology provider, I think that we have an active role. We have to collaborate together within the industry, but I think that all of us need to get together and start to be a bit more participative together. Right. In coming up with standards across the different evolutionary paths, if you will, or parts of the equation.
Okay. And many of you probably know that Dirk on my right is also president of OVAB Europe, and you've been working closely with the DPAA in the US, and the advertising guidelines and the standards are pretty important as well. What's the work you've done with?
Well, as Jose mentioned, that I stressed the standards discussion in my opening remarks today, as we haven't done our homework as an industry. And Jose mentioned in his presentation that every year we were saying, now's the time, now's the time, now's the time for the market. But it's not coming automatically, so we have to work as an industry on our homework, and I stressed it as homework. So standardization is really key. Standardization is the driver of each industry. And we at NEC, as Jose mentioned, worked together with Intel on the OPS standard, on the Open Applicable Specification standard. And we work on a standard to, automate the whole campaign process, having that in a platform, in an ad serving platform, in order to ease the whole process for the agencies. And that's how we at NEC worked on standards. On the OVAP side, on the association side, of course, we built a kind of forum to allow industry leaders and companies to join that forum and work with us together and with other industry folks together on this standardization. And the audience metrics, which were developed by the DPAA in America several years ago, we will bring that to Europe, but we need also the input from the whole industry to implement that. So therefore I can only invite all the industry people to work with us together on that.
Okay, thank you.